now you're an ATF agent. Now you want to go out, you want to, find bad guys, you want to arrest bad guys, you want to put bad guys in jail. I did 30 years with ATF, and I could quite, we talked about, ATF gets blamed for a lot of things, but in 30 years, I never took a gun off an innocent person that didn't deserve to have their gun taken from them. These people are felons. These people are drug dealers. They're addicts. They're child molesters. These are people that are they're bad people. And I don't have time to go talk, go get somebody's gun that, never committed a crime. So I don't know about you, Dom, but in 30 years, I never took a gun off an innocent person. They always had some sort of violent felony in their background, because a lot of times the U.S. attorney won't even take them as cases.
Right. Yeah, we had to fight a lot just to take, somebody who's 2/3 or a 3-time convicted felon, and the PD, like, hey, we know this guy's a shooter, and we get him with the gun, and it's pushing the U.S. attorneys, and it's like, yeah, he got popped with a couple, twice for a couple rocks of crack cocaine, and got a couple minor convictions. Like, is he really that bad? And like the PD is saying, yes, this is a shooter. We need him off the streets. So yeah, I agree with Shawn. Unfortunately, a lot of times, ATF is the redheaded stepchild. We like to get kicked and beat up. And I'll be upfront. We did a lot of stupid shit. There were some people in the administration that made some bad calls, and we got lots of, egg on our face. And, some of that stuff we deserve the blame for. But 95% of the stuff we're doing, it's going after the worst of the worst.
Now, yeah, you kind of struck a good question in my head. At least it's a good question to me. How does ATF even start to get involved in a case? It's not like the PD. So I'm trying to think of it from a citizen's perspective. I'm Joe Blow, citizen. I'm out and about. If the cops aren't investigating me on anything, the ATF isn't just out looking for me, are they? Like, how does ATF start getting involved in an investigation on anybody?
Well, I'll tell you how it worked for me. I started in San Francisco, and I worked hand in hand with the the San Francisco narcotics unit. I was out with them and doing cases with them. It got to be a partnership. It's like, I'd help them out with any of these really nasty knuckleheads that are committing a lot of crimes, that have guns, and able to get them in the federal system and put them in jail. And they get another body because I'm working there with them. So, ATF's always been known as kind of like the street cops of the federal government, because we work with the state and local so well. We don't come in there trying to, throw our badge around saying we're somebody special. But a lot of our cases usually end up by working with the state and locals, and we get, we work informants just like, the state and locals do. We get informants. We bring them in our cases. We get people calling in. I mean, these are just a few of the, basically it's just the kind of way it works is, we're not, thinking one day I'm going to go get, Joe Smith over there. I'm going to target him. It's like, there's a reason we're going after somebody. We have the luxury of identifying who we're going after, finding about their criminal record beforehand, before we even decide to open a case on them. So if they're not, don't have a violent history, basically, quite frankly, we don't have time. We're not that big of an agency. We got like 2,500 agents in the entire United States, and that's total. So you're not talking a lot of agents to cover, 50 states and a couple of territories. So we're not very big. And so we don't, we usually force multiply by working with the state and local.
Yeah, to piggyback on what Shawn was saying. Yeah, we, started off in Detroit. A vast majority of our work was working with, the agencies there, and be it Detroit, Dearborn, Flint, Saginaw, agencies that were experiencing gun violence or drugs and gun issues, working with them side by side. And yeah, we would develop our own informants. And, Shawn said opening up cases. Shawn was a supervisor. I was a supervisor. It's not just like an agent on the street's going to say, okay, I'm now going to go, investigate Eric. He's got to work a packet, take it to his supervisor and say, hey, I've got this information either from the PD, or I've got an informant that says Eric is doing X, Y, and Z. I'd like to go ahead and open an investigation because this is what I would like to do. This is what I think he's doing. Ask for electronic surveillance, whatever you want to do. you know, there's steps that you had to go through to actually open up a case on somebody. It's not just you decide, oh, hey, let me just go ride around and start following people around.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like I said, I like doing the education part of this, and helping people understand like that it's there. People think the man is around enough, and then now you got all these multiple agencies. You got the federal versus the local, and it oftentimes it really usually just stems from guys like me, local guys, like, hey man, this guy's up to some weird shit, and it's beyond my capabilities to keep digging into it. Two, I'm not a specialist in it. Police work's a lot like being a doctor, and I like to make this comparison: is that like you're a general physician, you're a pediatrician, you're a foot doctor, you got all these different specialists. So your general doctor is going to look you over and he's going to be like, you know what? Okay, you got the flu. We're going to give you this. Okay. And it's not working. Well, it's the same in police work. Hey, we got this shithead over here and he's doing this, but he's got these automatic Glocks. And I'm not really sure what the law is on these.